Chris, Shane, Chris. Hey, congratulations for Big City Greens.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it's very exciting that the third season of Big City Greens is coming up pretty soon. And not only that, you got the good news for a fourth season. That is amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. Season 3, we're very excited about. It is the first season that we've done entirely from home. We started right at the beginning of like April of 2020. So pandemic had just begun, production had moved to home. And I gotta say, like, the crew did an amazing job. They really pulled through. And season 3, we have some of our best episodes, I think, that we have ever done. So it's really encouraging to see everybody just really step it up in a tricky time to continue delivering really funny, really charming episodes.
So does this mean season 4, you're back in the office again? Is that how it's going to work? Back in the city?
We are not back in the office yet, but hopefully. The studio has plans, but and we want to make sure it's safe. That's top priority for everybody. And then once Disney gives us the okay, we will be back in the office. So until then, season 4, indeterminate. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. We'll see.
You know what's actually amazing? Your series is so addictive. I mean, and I'm not even a child. As a grown adult, I watch your series, and I know a lot of other grown adults watch the series. So, I mean, what do you suppose is your secret to success of the Big City Greens?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, I just got to first acknowledge, it's funny, whenever we hear from adults who like the show, it's as if they're telling us a secret. It's like they're confessing something. I'll have people pull me aside and go like, sometimes my child leaves the room and the TV's still on and I find myself watching Big City Greens. It's okay. If you are over the age of, say, I don't know, 12, and if you enjoy Big City Greens, I'm here to just announce that's okay. Welcome. It's safe here. As far as a secret to success,
what?
Well, Shane, if we have one, let's definitely not share it.
Yeah, don't share it here. Don't spill the beans. I will say, I think maybe what you're responding to is we try to make the show first and foremost for ourselves. So we're trying to entertain ourselves, first thing. And as you can see, we are not children. And so I think there's some of that transcends. It's a straight sitcom. It's a family sitcom, which to me has always been like, you want to make it so kids in the family can watch, but also the adults in the family can watch. And I think our sense of humor, the comedy, it just fits in that kind of broad age range.
Now, you told time after time that Big City Greens is based on your guys' childhood. I mean, really, could you tell us what your childhood was really like?
Wild adventures compacted into 11-minute segments.
Yeah, weekly. We had one adventure a week. Yep.
Yep. I mean, I would say the core of the show is really based on our childhood. Shane and I grew up with a third Houghton brother. We all grew up in a little farm town in Michigan, and then Shane and I eventually moved out to LA. And we also lived with our grandmother, our Gramma Alice. So there's a lot that's baked in that's true. I would say, like, the crazy adventures in the show, while not necessarily true, there is maybe a spirit there that's inspired by our childhood, because, like, us, along with all of our writers and storyboard artists, we all pull a lot from our childhood and throw a lot of weird stuff in the show. So while I'm trying to think of a crazy like the crazy stunt Cricket did in Ding Dongers, okay, we didn't no one did that crazy stunt, but we've all done stupid things as children, and we kind of pull inspiration from that, and we create this like crazy heightened reality.
I think the core of that is really the characters. Cricket is based on Chris when he was a kid. Tilly is based on like an amalgamation of a couple of girls from 4-H that we knew, neighbors, friends. The dad is based on Chris's father-in-law, and Gramma Alice is just basically our Gramma Alice. And I think the core of like those people and those characters and their relationships to one another is very much rooted in truth. And then, like Chris mentioned, like we like to take it and kind of pump up the adventure, pump up the stakes, and make it a little bit more of that heightened reality.
So then how about this? Tell us what living in, is it St. John's, Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? Is that like a really small town? Is it really like, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, or is it a little bit of country, a little bit of city? What's going on?
I will say, and this will be funny for about 12 people in St. John's, Michigan. We are not the smallest town. That would be Fowler, Michigan, next door to us, that has one stoplight.
Take that, Fowler.
Yeah. So compared to that, you know, St. John's, it's a small town, but we grew up outside of the small town. So we grew up in the country, and we didn't have any neighbors. You know, we were surrounded by dirt roads and alfalfa fields. But there was this lovely spirit to St. John's that I think that the Greens really hold on to. You know, we, like Shane mentioned, 4-H. We were a big part of 4-H and a big part of the community, and a big part of our church growing up. And there's just there's something to that small town vibe that we try to tap into on Big City Greens.
I think that we had a Walmart, so there's a Walmart. And
now it's a super Walmart.
It got bigger. And there is one 24-hour diner. There's also a couple of other like chain restaurants, but they close at a reasonable hour. And the Wheel Inn stays open 24 hours. So small, but like a little bit bigger than that kind of like one stoplight town, you know. There's multiple gas stations, you know. So, but it took us, if you wanted to go into town from where we lived out in the country, it's like a 15-minute drive from the country into town.
It's actually pretty funny, is because the next street over is actually Fowler to me right now. And 5 miles away, there's actually a town called Fowler. So
look at that. Not so original either, huh, Fowler, Michigan?
Right.
It's really throwing the gauntlet down on Fowler.
So apparently there's a Fowler everywhere.
Right. No, it always struck me as I don't know, this small town rivalries. It's just it exists wherever you go. So no shade to Fowler.
So now I'm going to go out on a limb that you guys now all settled in the big city. Do you guys still have that, you know, that country personality, that country gene as you live in the city sometimes?
Oh, gee whiz, Gig. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I don't know. Do we, Shane?
I feel like it's
light naivete that can be exploited.
I feel like I feel like I have urges. I have like a craving to like get back out to open spaces and fresh air and, you know, walk in the woods. I think our maybe worldview has grown after spending, you know, so long in the city, that I think we can relate to where we were, but like Chris is mentioning, it's like we're not as maybe I don't know. We've just learned a lot since then, so things have changed. But I miss it. I miss going back and kind of the smells and the feelings and just kind of going outside and screaming. You can yell all you want in the country. There's no neighbors to tell you to be quiet. So yeah, I miss some of that.
Yeah, I actually found myself kind of being slightly more, way more crickety and a little bit more Bill Green-esque when COVID first hit. I got really into gardening, as did a lot of people. But like I never wore shoes, I think, for most of 2020. So I think there is something kind of innately country that I don't know, you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. You know, I think there's some truth to that.
That is true.
I'm going to get that checked out at the doctor's next week. the country that's inside of me.
Now, you guys already gone through 3 seasons of ideas and 30 episodes, which technically it's 60 if you really take a look at it, and we're not even counting the shorts that you. How do you guys come up with all these ideas? I mean, it's a lot of episodes to come up with that just keeps on us laughing and laughing over and over again.
Yeah. Maybe we file that away with where we get our ideas is the same place where we keep our secret.
The old vault.
Yeah, it's the country we have inside of us.
The vast fields of episodes and jokes that we harvest on a weekly basis. I mean, it's interesting. I think creativity is a bit of a mystery, and I think what's interesting, but also maybe takes a bit of the magic out of it is just persistence and work, and you keep showing up and putting in the time, and ideas will come to you. What's actually exciting is the deeper we get into Big City Greens, the more episodes we write, the more ideas we exhaust, which then we can't really go back to those ideas. It just presents new arenas for creativity because it forces all of our minds in the writer's room and with our board artists, we're forced to flourishes under what's a greater restriction than we've already done that idea.
Just this morning in the writer's room, I was talking about, that's a great way of putting it, Chris. It's building versus like taking it away. There's a wider, stronger, bigger foundation to draw upon. And we can now do things in season 3 and season 4 that we never could have gotten away with in season 1 because we hadn't earned it. Whether it's like relationship pairings, like, oh, these two characters, we never put them together. Let's put them together and kind of see what happens. Or even just perspectives from characters after they've spent a certain amount of time in the city. They've obviously learned something, just like we have. And how does their perspective grow and shift and change? So there is some slight change and growth, over time with these characters. But I think what we're drawing from are relationships and life, like people and personalities and lessons, things you learn as you live life. And since that's not stopping for any of us who work on the show, we constantly have this well to draw from in terms of our life experiences. So between the writers and the board artists and everybody working on the show, there's a lot of personal stories and experiences that are usually like the golden nugget at the center of the episode that then we grow out with a bunch of goofy and fun and exaggerated ideas.
Well, let me address that big idea during your announcement this week is that you are doing a Big City Greens musical, which totally came out of left field. I would never expect you guys to actually do that. How did that actually came about, and why you guys want to challenge yourselves like this?
Yeah. Wait a second. I'm rethinking a lot after that question. No, you're so right.
It's a question we're asking ourselves. Why would you do this to yourself?
Every day in the mirror gig.
We're producing, so we're wrapping up season 3. We're starting season 4, and then we're making this movie on top of it. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's very exciting. We have a great team, so we're spreading things out, and everybody's kind of taking their own responsibilities and going for it. But in terms of the musical aspect for the movie, we had so much fun doing our Christmas special, Green Christmas, in season 2, which was I think there's, did we do 7 songs in that half-hour special, Chris? Yeah. So it's a bunch of songs, and it was so much fun, and it turned out I'm so happy and proud of how it turned out. And Chris and I are big fans of musicals. We did a bunch of theater and musicals, stage musicals in high school. And so we're just excited to kind of get back into that arena and work on some songs with our great composer, Joachim Horsley. And
he's talking about a secret weapon. Our composer is amazing. And as a second challenge for ourselves after the virtual after our Christmas special, we did all the songs. We came up with a karaoke episode, okay karaoke, and we packed in 5 new original songs for that, which then we later released as a EP. You can find it on Spotify. And so that just got us much more used to doing songs. And in fact, come season 3, when we were talking about the studio was talking about greenlighting season 3, that was actually a request from them. They were like, do you guys like doing songs? Do you want to do more? We were like, absolutely. We've been loving it. So expect more songs in season 3, and expect some great songs in the movie. We're already hard at work on them, and so is Yo, and they're really fun.
It sounds like you guys are telling us there's going to be plenty of original songs in season 3 and in the film.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can you give us also more preview of what we could expect in season 3? Obviously, original songs is part of it.
Yeah. Oh, well, you must have been reading my mind, because you asking about ideas and whenever we're at the top of a new season order, it is intimidating. Like, oh my gosh, we just finished writing a bunch of episodes and now we have this big season pickup ahead of us. But there's always a few ideas that we never got to prior, that in every pickup, we generally find a new take on an old idea, and we go, yes, we can finally do that thing we always wanted to do. And there's 2 episodes I'm particularly excited to share that are both like old ideas. One, Shane, Doug Perkins comes to mind. This new delightful character who will pop up in an episode called The Pendabill. And Doug Perkins is inspired and voiced by our good friend Tom Gamble, who's a longtime Simpsons producer, Seinfeld writer, who has this hilarious voice. And for as long as we've known him, we're like, we have to come up with a character for Tom and get him in the show. And we have an episode that we were able to crack. Or I think, Shane, of Rat Tail. We always wanted to do an episode where Cricket grows a rat tail. That feels appropriate to Cricket Green. Does he hide the rat tail? What does he do with it? Is it a style that he, I would assume, defends to the edge of the world?
Cricket has a lot of bold hair choices.
He does. He does. Yeah, and the rat tail felt right at home. But again, that was another idea that we just couldn't quite find a take on. And actually, shout out to one of our storyboard artists, Raj Brugman, who found a take on that and wrote this episode called Rat Tail. So exciting stuff. And those are just, hey, those are the old ideas we were able to make work. I'm not even sharing the new
plenty of new ideas in season 3. I think one of the most exciting things is coming right off the heels of season 2. We end on this not so much of a cliffhanger, but the promise of Gloria getting her own cafe. So she is now taking over the old big coffee space next door to the Greens in partnership with Gramma. So there is this interesting and fun new dynamic between Gloria and Gramma teaming up as partners, working together. At this new cafe right next door to the Greens. Gloria is continuing to live with the Greens. So we've got this, we just really like that dynamic of the Gloria also being like a roommate to the Greens. So there's some fun we have with that. There's so many exciting things. We have a very exciting mid-season finale right in the middle of the season that I'm excited for, but I don't want to tell you anything about because we're not there yet. You got to see some of the early episodes first.
My eyebrows for hints.
Yeah.
What if that was like Morse code for what the spoiler was?
You guys read my mind because I was going to ask if you guys were going to introduce new characters or possibly, guest voices, and you absolutely answered that, which is thrilling because that's what some of us want, expect in this long series.
I think I would go as far as to say, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think there are more new characters in season 3 than any previous season that we've done.
That's a fair assessment.
We do a lot of exploring, and the Greens meet a lot of new folks. So if you enjoy some wackadoo new characters, season 3's got them.
Very true. Very true.
Now, before I leave you guys, you guys do everything on the show, producing, the writing, creating, and not only Chris voicing and then Shane voicing other characters and so on. How do you guys balance all this? I mean, this is a lot of work.
It is, and somehow
Shane's got a newborn.
I got a new baby, and somehow we decided now is a good time to also do a movie. Like how we do it. We have a wonderful crew who help. It's not just me and Chris doing all this. We got lots of great people. We have Steven Sandoval is coming over from the Owl House, and he is a new co-executive producer on the series starting in season 3. He's been doing a ton of helping run the series, along with Jonathan Wallach, who started season 1 as a board artist. He is now our supervising director. He's doing a ton of work and just helping oversee a couple of new directors that we have on the series. Also, board artists who we have promoted up. And we've got just all around like great supervisors, great crew. And there's no way Chris and I can do all of this. So we really lean on the help and support of our wonderful folks. Also, Mike Coughlin is another secret weapon. He is our new producer who has been on the series since the beginning, but has been promoted all the way up to now. He is running the schedule and budget side of things, and we just love him to death. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we've been in production for 6 years now, since our initial green light. And a lot of the folks Shane just mentioned have been with us since that initial green light. So, and side note, 2 of those years were done from home and we're still working from home. So none of this would be possible without our massively talented and hardworking and devoted team. So, because of that, though, not only have we been able to survive, there is more stuff happening. It allows us to branch out, do these shorts. Along the folks that Shane mentioned, I just want to also shout out Anna O'Brien, who was again, she helped us out in development on Big City Greens, was a board artist, director. Now she's directing the movie. So it's just been huge. And because of that, we've grown our own little Big City Greens community. And we're just excited to continue to expand and share more stuff with our great fans who just love what we're doing. And we're so happy they like what we're doing.
Well, your team works and it provides results. One last question, just a little personal question, because we're always curious about animators and their tastes. Besides Big City Greens, is there an animation series that you love to watch yourself besides your own work?
Oh, man.
I love my own work. I'm glad you mentioned that. When I'm not watching my own work, I will say, and this maybe sounds stereotypical given Big City Greens, but during COVID, my wife and I once again fell into watching for the umpteenth time King of the Hill. It's talk about another show that just really taps into that community feeling and really honest characters, great relationships. I love that show.
Oh man, this is a tough question. I feel like I'm always on the search for something new. Well, I do have my comfort shows, but they're usually they're comedies. The Simpsons is in there, 30 Rock is in there. It's not animated, but The Office. Those are the things I go to for comfort. Animation wise, I'm always curious about what's up and coming, what's new. So I try to watch a little of whatever interests me. I just finished watching Arcane on Netflix, which was fascinating and beautiful. And I was just blown away by the animation in that show. And the story is really great. The characters were fun. So I like to kind of bounce around, but I don't know if I have a go-to comfort animated show. Besides man, those classic episodes, the seasons of The Simpsons, I will always return to. Oh man, there's just There's so much good stuff out there.
I signed up for Paramount Plus just to get those South Park COVID specials, which were delightful and so clever and funny. Yeah. Shout out to Paramount Plus.
How dare you? Disney overlords. We're gonna be very displeased.
Well, let's go ahead and remind everybody that Big City Greens is coming out on Disney.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, and we will see all these episodes pretty soon. So once again, gentlemen, thank you very much for answering all my tough questions. I tried to throw curveballs. You could have easily said a curveball and answered like, no, I don't like animation, but
if we didn't like animation, I think we'd be in the wrong industry.
That's very true.
So, gentlemen, hey, Chris, Shane, Chris, thank you very much for speaking to us about this. This is delightful. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again for season 4 and that musical.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Thank you, Shane. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, we'll be there for it. Thanks, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.